the best in Los Angeles. That's not what they've told me. That's what I think. And everything they've expressed and what they want, and their doctors to be able to work with the team. And
fancy. Undisputed is coming up at 9:30 sharp. Jen Hale understands where I'm coming from. Jen, what are you guys talking about today?
Girl, I gotcha. I totally understand. Jenna.
An abbreviated season. My teammates were cool with it. And he talked about with Kyle Lowry, they had some situations behind the scene that could have been explosive that didn't get out to the public.
And by the way, on that, I think one of the reasons we're hearing so little, we know Kawhi's camp doesn't really talk to many people. Chris has a connection with Kawhi's camp. Most people don't. Usually it's teams that leak information on these free agency things. Sometimes it's agents. Typically, it's teams. Kawhi has an NFL agent. They do things a little bit differently historically, which is one of the reasons they've been so squeaky clean on the lack of leaks. I feel like these last 48 hours have been something of, I don't want to call it a loyalty test, but they met with the Lakers and Clippers already. And I think they want to see, is anything going to leak from those meetings? Is there anything that we've asked nothing leak? Can we trust that nothing will leak? And the Lakers and Clippers are going, and the Raptors, well, showing whether they can or cannot do this.
And I was put in check yesterday. Don't follow the crowd noise in believing that the Lakers were ahead of the Clippers and of Toronto. They were not doing all the intel, and Kawhi had not made a decision. So for me, yesterday, everyone was running crazy. Lakers, Lakers, Lakers. Now, what my personal opinion is totally different than what I've been informed by Kawhi and his team.
And go ahead.
No,
just to be clear, but they didn't tell you the Lakers were ahead or behind, right? They said that right now there is no leader.
They said don't listen.
Right. Don't listen to the idea that it's the Lakers to lose, but they didn't say, they weren't saying to you the Lakers have no chance or anything like that. They basically said it's still what it was, a three-team race.
Yes.
You asked what would deter the Kawhi Leonard now. I mean, he wanted to go to the Lakers before LeBron got there. Well, a whole year of Lakers organization dysfunction, and I think he saw that this team was not as I don't know, buttoned up as its history suggested. It has a very storied history of being such a well-run organization, and the last year was just completely stymied by that. And I just think that is part of what might potentially deter him.
That's the only
made a list.
It's the only thing working against the Lakers is the coaching search, the front office, ownership. That is, you could say, oh, well, what about the blowback of joining a super team? Kawhi's immune to that in a way that Durant was not. Because I know if he picks the Lakers, a lot of people are going to bring up Durant and the Warriors. If Durant had just won a championship with Oklahoma City and then gone to Golden State.
If Durant had not lost to Golden State after a 3-1, even if it was a knockdown dragout.
Right.
You know, 1-1, 2-2, 3.
Let's just say that Oklahoma City, Durant and Russ, they win the title that year. And they were close. There was a time where they were the favorites, the Vegas favorites. When they were up 3-1 on Golden State, and when Cleveland was still in the Eastern Conference Finals, the Thunder were the favorites to win the championship. If they had done that, and then Durant had left, people might not have liked it, but no one would have questioned how much do you want to compete, his basketball character, things like that. Toronto just won the title. No one's going to be able to accuse Kawhi of running from anything. He won a title as a role player, winning Finals MVP in San Antonio. He then won a title without another superstar, and because he would be joining a team that he requested to go to when they had 0 superstars, the Lakers a year ago. So for all those reasons, he's kind of inoculated from the Durant crisis.
And if that's not enough for you, just saying I want to go back home.
Right. That's of course.
I want to go back home. That right there, any person can respect in any profession and what you're doing. Imagine you can make the maximum amount of money and you can do it in your backyard. I mean, just imagine how your family could watch you. Just imagine how different that situation is compared to going to not only another state, but say another country.
So listen, I don't try to be someone that can see the future, but I can see the future on this. If he picks the Lakers, the super team blowback is not going to fall at his feet. It will fall at LeBron's feet. People will make this about LeBron's legacy, about cheapening LeBron's championships. They will make it somehow that LeBron was supposed to not try to get the best play. And we'll deal with those discussions if they come to pass. But you mentioned, I did a pros and cons list for each team. The pros for the Raptors, the arguments for the Raptors is, hey man, let's try to go back to back. You don't. You want to sign a 1 year, a 2 year, a 3 year, a 4 year, a 5 year. We'll sign you any contract you want. You know we will respect your body as far as load management. Marc Gasol opted back in. Lowry's back. Ibaka's going to be back. Siakam's back. We're going to have the whole crew. Let's try to run it back.
And then you can deal with these decisions next season.
Or in 3 seasons, or however you want to do it. And the opportunity to become the biggest sports celebrity other than hockey players in Canadian history. Like that's the opportunity. He might already be that, by the way, but the opportunity to cement himself as that. The downside is it is a foreign country, and that is not me being jingoistic. It's just whenever any of us, you and I both went somewhere out of the country on our break, it's just TV's different. You talked about that.
Yeah.
Like the weather's obviously very different in Toronto. It's just a different.
Raising young kids is definitely totally different when you're spending 8 months out of the United States.
Right. It's just so those are things that I think are working against Toronto. What's working against the Clippers is it would be, with respect to the Clippers, the least talented roster Kawhi's ever been on. They're a good roster. They're not a great roster. He was on great rosters in San Antonio, a great roster in Toronto.
And people just can't take that, oh, Kawhi is the only superstar. He don't care about talent. No. What Kawhi's not going to do, and this is something that the Lakers have in their favor, Kawhi didn't want to be part of talking to Kevin Durant, him and Kevin Durant deciding to go to New York. And then, you know something, in 2 years, something happens where Kevin Durant's not happy.
Right.
And then it's like Kawhi was partially responsible for that. Kawhi wants to play with talented players. It's just not the top priority, but it is one of his priorities.
And a lot of the Clippers buzz nationally, media-wise, was they had 2 max cap spots, so they could add another star player. That's gone now. It would be Kawhi plus Gallinari, the good team they had last year, but not the great team. The Lakers, we know what they have going for them. They have the best player in the league in LeBron. They have the best big man in the league. They would instantly become massive championship favorites. What they have going against them is exactly what you said, Jenna. All the other stuff. And for a guy like Kawhi Leonard, who seems to enjoy things being very managed, not noisy, and there to be a process over results, that I think heavily, if the Lakers had a more buttoned up front office,
This would be a no-brainer.
To me,
it's clearly a question. Does he want to be part of a super team, or does he want to be the guy with a really strong supporting cast, a great organization, a strong, stable organization around him?
I think that organization stuff is overrated. I think all the other players is overrated because Kawhi is far smarter than people are giving him credit for. Kawhi got thrust into Toronto's situation, and you know what he did immediately? He had a conversation with Kyle Lowry. Talked about, man, I understand. Your best friend just got traded away. But let's go do something special. Now, no one knew that Kawhi, because people don't know Kawhi. So Kawhi gets attached all these things that people think like him and know him. I'm one of the few people that does know Kawhi and kind of know what the things that he has expressed. So for me, those things are a little overrated. A basketball unit is 15 guys, 5 or 6 coaches, some person owns it, and let's go play this 82-game schedule. And I think Kawhi wants the best players that he can have, and I believe people have underestimated his value on playing with good players.
What if the Lakers don't get Kawhi? Could they still win a title without him this coming season?
Listen, they'll still have the best duo in basketball, they'll have the best player and the best big man, but the day they traded for Anthony Davis, we talked about how they're the favorites without having to get a third star. But that was when J.J. Redick was available and Terrence Ross was available and Mirotic wasn't going over to Europe and Darren Collison wasn't retired and Beverly wasn't with the Clippers and Seth Curry wasn't with Dallas. Now, we thought it'd be door A, with door number 1, which is a superstar, door number 2, which is 3 legitimate rotation players. Now it's going to be the ultimate superstar in Kawhi, door number 1, or door number 3, which is going to be piecemealing the back end of your roster. I still think they can. I still think they would deserve to be the slight favorites, but it is a hell of a lot closer than if Kawhi had just on day 1 said it's Toronto, and the Lakers had then gone after Terrence Ross or Redick or Beverly or a few of those guys.
Yeah, it would be a challenge to fill out that roster.
All right, we continue to wait. That's it for us. We're back here tomorrow morning. Undisputed starts right now.